This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome back to tonight's, I guess you could call it post-game edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. But you see by the title, that's not exactly where we're going tonight. We'll head in a very different direction once we kind of use this game for a frame of reference. But my friends, a 7-2 final for the Carolina Hurricanes over top of the Edmonton Oilers this evening. Connor McDavid, the lone bright spot, continuing that 2-point per game pace so far this season, on pace for something silly like 164 points this year. Yeah, that's the crazy part, right? Wouldn't we like to take that? But it all means nothing if you're losing games left, right, and center like the Oilers are games like tonight. And yeah, just not a great overall performance. But folks, if you're new to the channel, what I want you to do over the next 5-10 minutes, whatever it takes me to get through tonight's video, consider hitting that subscribe button here on Dolynny TV. I'd love to have you aboard. Sorry, they're showing highlights of the game now, but I'd love to have you aboard simply to discuss Oilers stuff. And I mean, you and I and everybody can hold each other accountable as we go on this wave that is the Edmonton Oilers 2022-2023 season. My friends, tonight, like I said, not the performance you want, but it is a really bad thing that Jack Campbell gave us that quote a few games ago, calling his pathetic play pathetic, right? My performance has been pathetic, or whatever the quote was. Using that word has just nailed home what will be a strike against him potentially for his entire career in Edmonton. And I feel bad for the guy because, I mean, Jack Campbell is a guy who, by all means, from everything I've seen, means well, a very nice guy. Obviously, as somebody who struggles with mental health myself, I understand kind of what he battles through on a day-to-day basis when he's down in the dumps a little bit. And I mean, even if you don't, that's still something, a little human compassion goes a long way, right? But unfortunately, right, you call yourself out like that, and all you do is put fuel to the fire, and then you have tonight. And this is by no means do I want to sit here and justify the bad turnovers, justify the lazy defense, justify not being able to score more than 2 goals in a game against a team playing on the back half of back-to-back with their backup in net. No, that's not what I'm looking to do by blaming Jack Campbell tonight. Simply put, I'm putting this spotlight on Jack Campbell to just simply say, you know, end of the day, Campbell has to try harder. Campbell has to look like he gives a damn. And that is what we did not see tonight. Jack Campbell tonight in net, in a summary, and I sent this down to Bakersfield in a text today during the game, is simply every single bad goal, right? Every goal that I think the consensus would be Jack Campbell let that one in. Not the Oilers. Jack Campbell let that one in. Whether it's the 2 glove goals, right? The one against Dallas and the one against Carolina tonight. Whether it be whatever goal you want to say Jack Campbell gave up that he shouldn't have, what you have to look at here and what I have to tell you is simply Jack Campbell, every time he lets in a bad goal, it's a bad goal to me because it just seems like he could have done more, right? There's just a little bit more, and he's fully capable of doing that little bit more. And in a game like Tampa, he does that little bit more, but he just does not do that little bit more, and it just looks so bad. It looks terrible. It's so lazy feeling. It just makes you feel bad. Like, it gets your skin crawling a little bit when you watch 7 goals go in on Jack Campbell, and I won't even blame the first 3 on him tonight. But you look at that 4th one, that Andrei Svechnikov goal, I think is the 4th one that he was scored against him, or somewhere in that sequence, my friends. And it's just such the end of the period one is the bad one. The end of the period one's the bad one in the second period with a second and a half left, where he faces a backhander from out in a circle in his own zone, and he's on the goal line backing into the net basically. Oh, it was so bad. And realistically, all you have to do is a little better positioning. Be a little bit more ready. Be a little bit more concerned with the relativeness of the game, and you make that save. I mean, I am not a goaltender by any means. I'm not a goaltending expert by any means. And I do not think by any means Dolynny TV has a plethora of goalies that would be able to make saves at the NHL level more so than Jack Campbell. I don't even think we got one. I only got 9,250 subscribers on this channel, but I'm sure there's somebody on this channel that watches Dolynny TV regularly that has goaltended at a junior B, junior C, junior A, heck, a high rec league that, you know what, can look at Jack Campbell and say, yeah, it does come down to an effort put in kind of thing. He's just not putting in that extra bit that you just need to make saves at the NHL level, and that's what's so frustrating to me, right? I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I'm not ready to fire Jack Campbell into the sun. I just want him to try that much harder because he can, right? You're an NHL goaltender making $5 million a season. You're capable of stopping the pucks that Jack Campbell's letting in. I know that. Anyone that watches him knows that, right? So it's one of those frustrating points is it just makes your skin crawl because you're so frustrated. You don't want to be angry. He's such a good guy. You don't want to be upset because it's 15 games in, but it's just so frustrating because you know that he is a much better goaltender than he has showed. And yeah, it's not excusing the rest of the team, not at all, but it's just, come on, man. You are so capable. Just do it. Just, please, come on. You can do it. And he isn't. But you also look at this way, right? Is I can talk down Jack Campbell all we want, but the only solution we have is Stuart Skinner, and a lot of people aren't ready for that answer yet. Jack Campbell would have to stink it up for a whole half a year for anyone to say, yeah, Skinner, he plays better than Campbell, so sure, right? I mean, that's fair. But it's just so frustrating, and a case in point of this is that Svechnikov goal. All right, let's talk about that hat-trick Svechnikov goal, side of the net. Jack Campbell's on his stomach, pads, chest, and head, basically, laying flat on the ice. Svechnikov's on this side of the net, and Jack Campbell's got his head. Literally, as soon as he laid down and Svechnikov started touching the puck, he's looking this way, over here, and not giving a damn about what Svechnikov's doing, and it ends up in the back of his net because Devon Shore didn't have a goalie pad chest on to make that save. I'm not upset. I'm frustrated because Jack Campbell, as an NHL goaltender, is capable of getting up off the ice and scrambling to make the save. He did not move. He did not look at the puck. He did not do anything. And if you want to say it's up to Jay Woodcroft to have pulled him after the second period, that's fair. And I thought Jay was going to pull him after the second period. But if you're going to label the starter mentality and you're up down by 2 goals going into the third, despite giving up a few bad goals, you got to be able to piece it together the rest of the game. If you can't sit there and lock down a game down 2 goals and give your team a chance to win, you're not a starting goaltender. And that's where the frustration lies, right? Is then the Oilers believe Jack Campbell is a starting goalie and he doesn't believe it. And that's what it almost seemed like. Jack Campbell didn't believe he could do the job tonight, and the terrible play to give away the puck, shooting it up the middle of the ice right into the Carolina player, and it ends up in the back of his net. Look at how he contorts himself when he tries to make some kind of scramble play. That in no means is going to affect anything. It just looks like a guy who is completely lost out there, and it's so frustrating because you know he's a better goaltender than that. I mean, Jack Campbell might be a goaltender that averages 3 goals against per game, sure, but he's not a goalie that gives up 7 every single night. And the fact that he did that in the fashion he did tonight is just so frustrating, and it absolutely has my mind boggled. But it's another pathetic performance from Jack Campbell, and unfortunately he gave us that quote to use against him the rest of the season. Whether I like doing it or not, that's not the question. It's the fashionable thing to do, and it's exactly what, in a loss, is the only way I'm going to be able to sit here and talk to you calmly about Jack Campbell is by using that language in turn. Folks, tomorrow is Remembrance Day. As I finish up this video, I'd like you to take tomorrow, take a pause at some point, preferably when it is the 11 o'clock hour, and take a moment to sit quietly to yourself, recognize the sacrifices made by your family members over the years in the armed forces, the sacrifice made by those who gave their lives for our country, and the sacrifices from those that continue to go in harm's way to make sure we have what we have day in, day out here in our great country. Folks, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV, and end of the day, lest we forget them.